friends, come on in, take your shoes off, have a seat, and consider staying a while by clicking that subscribe button. This is our first video at the homestead, y'all. We are officially, I wouldn't say officially moved in. We still have a lot of work. You can see we don't even have like light switches on, but we are making it slowly but surely, making it into a home, and I can't wait to continue to just have you all a part of that. So that's super exciting. That is not what today's video is about. Today's video is about July 9th, Cyber Polygon. A lot of you have asked me to make a video over this, so I know a lot of you know about it. And I actually have a prediction for it, something that I've really been praying about, something I've really been thinking about, and I will share that with you. But first, let's get into what Cyber Polygon is. So the famous World Economic Forum is putting on Cyber Polygon. What a lot of people don't realize is this actually isn't their first year doing this. They have done this, I believe, for 5 years now. So this is something that they have been working on. But I think it's just kind of like a buzzword right now because we've had so many cyber attacks in the United States, more than we ever have before. So I went on to their website because I kind of wanted to see like what they were saying about it. And I have a few quotes. So the first one is, "As the world grows more interconnected, the speed of development makes it difficult to assess the impact of change. A secure approach to digital development today will determine the shape of our future for decades to come. Having the right skills in place is key to protecting organizations from attack now." I don't really disagree with this statement they're saying here, because they're basically like saying like everything's online and we don't really know the repercussions of that because we haven't really had war online or attacks online before. What's interesting is when they describe what the event is, they literally had like a tab that says, "What is Cyber Polygon?" And under that it says, "A unique cybersecurity event that combines the world's largest technical training exercise for corporate teams in an online conference featuring senior officials from international organizations and leading corporations." Just to stop right there and just to explain, companies literally sign up to be a part of this. So it's not just like random World Economic crazy people like we've seen before. Like these are actually companies and organizations all over the world that sign up to be a part of this. I'm going to continue. The 2021 conference discusses the key risk of digitalization and best practice for the secure development of digital ecosystems. It's kind of like an interesting word because when I think of ecosystem, I immediately think like ocean, because they talk about like the Great Barrier Reef or whatever, or the rainforest. So it's really interesting that they're comparing online to like an ecosystem. The technical exercise builds and tests the skills needed to protect our industries, centering on a targeted supply chain attack. Super interesting to me because what has been going on in America? We've had a cyber attack on our oil industry. We had a cyber attack on our meat. Last year, a lot of people could say that we had, because of the pandemic, it was a practice run on our supply chain, and to see how we would react as a nation when our supply chain is interrupted. And so a lot of people might look at this and say, well, they're just doing it because that's what's going on. But one thing about the World Economic Forum, and I'll discuss this further when I kind of say my prediction of what I think is going to come out of this, is that they've been one step ahead of everybody the entire time. And that's not by coincidence. That's because they're designing everything. Honestly, they know what's going on. They've been very diligent and very open about what their plans are. And so I don't think this is just because this is what's going on in the world. I think this is part of a very strategic plan. Participants will hone their practical skills in mitigating a targeted supply chain attack on a corporate ecosystem in real time. So at the bottom of this website page, there's actually an email, and it says if you would like to participate, please send your application to this email. So they don't just let anybody into Cyber Polygon. You actually have to apply, and the World Economic Forum has to approve you. Organizations that they do approve are actually going to do a simulated, it is a simulated attack. So what they do is that they have these organizations come in, they sit down, they have their best tech people there, and then they literally send like a virus or a cyber attack onto their company, and this company goes ham, basically just trying to block the cyber attack, and they record it. They record what they're doing. They record how they did it. And the World Economic Forum is playing it off like, hey, we're helping you out. We're going to, record everything. So if something does happen, you can go back and say, okay, what did we do right? What did we do wrong? How can we do it faster? How can we better protect our companies? But we all know, again, the World Economic Forum is several steps ahead. And so what I think is going on is actually because the cyber Polygon is actually a company out of Russia. And what have we seen out of Russia this year? A ton of cyber attacks. So these companies are literally handing over how they would handle a cyber attack, what defenses their company has to be able to attack back or protect their things. So they're literally giving Russian companies and the World Economic Forum a blueprint onto basically how to break into their systems and how to get at their company and how to interrupt a supply chain of whatever that company is putting out there. That's why they have the application process, because they're not going to let somebody, like, I have my own company, I'm self-employed, I'm my only employee, and so they're not going to want someone like me who doesn't really affect much of the world. I only affect my small little town, right? But they want these bigger companies that are literally gonna affect millions and millions of people, and that's why they vet that process, because they just want the big fish. They don't want any little fish. It's already a big enough problem that they're getting these blueprints and literally know how to attack and how a company can defend itself. But the reason why I waited till now to make this video, because I've had this information for about 2 weeks now, and I kept stewing on it, and I kept stewing on it, and I kept praying about it, and I was like, why does this sound so familiar? Why does this seem so sketchy to me? What interest does the World Economic Forum have in this, besides their digital stuff? And it finally hit me. This isn't the first simulation the World Economic Forum has done, and that's when a light bulb went off. 6 months before COVID hit, they did a simulation of a pandemic. They ran tests like this. They involved big corporations. Basically, the big fish of the United States, China, and Russia were all involved in it. And they ran a simulation, basically, how a pandemic would play out and how it would affect it, and this is what we would do. And the similarities to COVID are very striking, all the way down to this simulation they did was called Dark Winter. And how many times has our own president and other leaders said we're in for a dark winter? It's too much of a coincidence. And like I said, the World Economic Forum seems to always be one step ahead. They're always planning. So how do I think this is relating to the cyber Polygon, and what is my prediction? Well, the last simulation they did obviously was the pandemic, and it happened 6 months later. So I'm thinking that something around December 2021 is going to happen. That's going to be 6 months from this cyber attack simulation. And so I don't really know what that is, but obviously by then they're going to have collected all the information they need on these companies to interrupt the supply chain. Obviously I could be wrong, but I just said there's just too many similarities from the pandemic to now. All we've heard about is this, cyber warfare, and we've had so many cyber attacks, and I think this is just gearing up for something bigger. So that is my prediction, that I think something is going to happen. And so we definitely are working on our own communications in our family, how we would reach out to one another, how we would get together if the grid was to go down. But yeah, that's what I think is going to happen. That's what I think this means. I think that they are blatantly warning us that this is going to happen. That did with the pandemic. Why would it be any different with this situation? And even if that doesn't happen, again, Russia knows the ins and outs of our biggest corporations that support our food and water and everything else that makes America function on a daily basis. So it's gonna be bad. All right, let me know what you think of my predictions in the comment section down below, and also write your own and what you think this all means. And as always, just keep prepping, keep, running family drills yourself. If they're practicing, why are we not? Practice using your preps, practice, what your emergency meetup plan would be, especially if you have kids, and make sure that they know that. Make sure to give this video a big thumbs up. It's free, it only takes a second, and it really helps my channel out, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Bye.